Hello and welcome to Signs of Life. This is a game that I've recently come across. I think it's in beta still, or it's either alpha or beta. I'm pretty sure it's something in beta. In fact, I can actually check recent updates. I think it said something about beta. Well, regardless, new character. I've already had my old character kind of playing around to see how everything runs. Let's call him Lord Archadeas. Got a piece of, actually, an entire notebook kind of blocking my view. Let's go with dark hair. Let's see. Interesting selection. I think I'll go about that. Pale. There's actually a pair of, does it tell you what these are? No. This one is the one I had beforehand. I think it was that. No, it was that. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. Lord Archadeas. Everything looks good. Oh. I always have that. And let's go generating map. I wonder if it's using the same world that I was using not too long ago. I'll be able to tell if it is. I'm not sure how, like, generating a new character is. Or generating a character again. Generating base tiles. There's actually bases in this. For a technically early access, this game's actually pretty well built for, I guess, the type of big game it is. It's actually pretty well built, so I haven't had any too many complaints. I've crashed maybe 3-4 times, but I've been playing for maybe 40 hours or something like that, so oh yeah, I was hoping for this little intro thing. Signs of Life. You're basically in an escape pod. Your ship got blown up by some aliens, or they were attacked by aliens. And basically you escaped in an escape pod, and yeah, now basically this is telling me to find a place or else, and that usually gives me more time. Let's see, I think I'm supposed to scan you or something. Hang on, let me get out my checklist. I haven't talked much lately, and sorry about the lack of videos for the, I guess, past 2 months or so. I've been doing a lot of work, and there have been kind of a few issues, but other than that, it's fine. Okay, let's see. You seem to be alive, check. You don't seem to have any brain damage, but, let's just say, can't rule that out. I'll just write probably fine, really small on that checkbox. Looks like you have your standard issue multifunctional Meg tool. Oh, the lens cracked. It was probably damaged during that one time when we were attacked by hostile aliens that then boarded an escape pod and escaped to an alien planet. Your fingers don't look broken, so you should be still able to switch between items by pressing the appropriate button on your HUD and scrolling through them with the mouse wheel. They're talking about this. You can't actually, like, click these and or adjust these. I'll show you in a minute. can get more information about a piece of equipment by opening the inventory I, or I think it's I by default. If it's not, then I adjusted it. And clicking the item. With the item menu open, you can pick things up from the ground by basically hold middle mouse button and you can collect things. Okay, I'm already super bored of this quiz or whatever, so I'm going to take a nap. You can open up the pod by right clicking on it, and there are some items. Basically it's just telling you that there's some items in this. Oh wait, one more thing. There's a weak signal from a pioneer station. Okay, that's actually kind of important. The weak signal from a pioneer station, you actually don't understand what that is until, I guess, a little bit later. One thing you want to grab, this, I would suggest grabbing the flare pistol and the ammo. I always equipped it in here. You can actually just throw it in your inventory and use it. And this, I personally usually keep the pistol here as it doesn't really have anything. And here's some text if you want to do that. I'll be coming back to this at some other point. There's not really a good point in having the initial pistol here because it's very junk. These things aren't hostile unless you attack them. First thing you want to do is grab a few things to eat. And then, let's start by pressing 1. It gets out your mining laser. Just a quick little tool. This mining laser actually will be useful up until, I want to say, no, I guess it's pretty much useful all the time. Next thing you want to do is get one of these smaller ones and cut that down, because they'll have an important thing, the fiber. And he's just going to constantly tell you that, oh, there's a new recipe, ooh, there's a new recipe, ooh, there's a new recipe. Well, it kind of gets annoying at some point, and I stop listening to him. Usually you want to keep this closed just in case you actually need to escape to it. And I would say chop down every tree, because they do regrow. You can't break these yet. Take the cotton, take the flint. Pretty much hold the middle mouse button for most of this time. Just take everything you can get your hands on, because it'll all be useful. Okay. Flint's only useful for, I guess, a little bit. Whoa. What happened there was one of them got attacked and then they kept attacking, and their attacks actually do follow through and hit everything. I'm pretty sure he's angry. Nope. You can look in your inventory. Yada 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 yada. This is just basic tutorial saying you can open your inventory. Yay! But yeah, I'm going to eat here. You can see that there's a little stomach there. There's not really too much of an issue with that. You can actually go and starve, but you actually won't starve. I'm pretty sure this is copper. Yep. Grab some food. You want to see if you can grab leather. Leather is actually kind of one of those important things that early on it's really useful, later on it's kind of junk, but jumping is kind of a pain here if you don't like terraform the earth a little bit. Other than that, it should be fine. Pioneer Station usually is on the right, but I've had issues where I've run into the giant boss of this world, which there is actually a boss. You can hold shift to sprint, or you can set it as default. Oh, here's the Pioneer Station, I think. Some leather. Good, good. Okay. Do I have these stones? Yes. You can actually see that you grabbed items there. Now, this is the thing. This item, right click, it shows you this. This will actually show you some beacons, but other than that, it's pretty much blank. You actually have to use the tool or this, and as you can see, it just showed up some stuff. The tool is actually in 4, scroll, yada yada, yada yada, and you can actually click it, but it's just easier to do this, as it seems to be a little bit more effective, and you don't need to have a tool out to do that. Grab some items. I saw some leather. Because one of the first things you want to get in this area, it's a mining base. You can't actually get in here, and it'll show you right there. Looks like you need some sort of some kind of key card to use. Let me think. You can die here and get inside pretty quickly, but let's try to avoid that. I'm going to need some dirt. By the way, you can use the right click with the mining laser, and it's the only tool that can actually mine the background. So it's not too bad. You can only mine one at a time. It does use energy to use this, so keep an eye on that, unless you don't really care. I want to chop down every tree. Oh. I think it failed for a second. That happens once in a while when you are kind of in range, but not actually in range. And overall, you can actually use a few things. I think it's V to stomp and kick. That's pretty cheap to do that. You also have a standard attack. This is your crafting menu. There's a whole lot of stuff you can start out with. I would actually suggest using the sword first, as, well, it's not the best weapon. It is at least better than nothing. The basalt axe, I would say, is probably the worst tool. It's equivalent to this wood hammer, only it costs more materials. The whip is actually not that bad. The bow is kind of good. Flares, they're pretty cheap, just a little bit of rubber and sap. Wooden bolts. You can start with armor, though I would suggest if you're going to start with any armor, go with leather, as it's probably the cheapest to make. But I won't be using that. Luchador's mask, I don't think it has any real benefit of it. I think it's just one of those entertaining things. Tools, you want to start with a hammer. And it's pretty much instant there. Basic smelter, I need some stone. But yeah, right now, what I know I need, just kind of clicking these to get them to stop being yellow, because I'm going to need that. I guess fire starter is useful, and sap torches, you want to grab a handful of those. And maybe a little bit more than a handful. You can also click this, but I don't usually do that as much. What is it? Platforms. That's what I was looking for. I usually start with these ones. These ones are very cheap. Go to 5. Now, to place these efficiently, put them above, just directly above your head, as you can actually jump up to them. doing that, and put there. Pioneer Station is always starts with this broken window. It's actually how you get out of here if you die, as there's no other way out. An O2 canister. Oh, you only got one there? Usually I get like 2 or 3 or something like that. Maybe I only got 1. I can't remember. And a dog treat. I would suggest using your sword because it's less damaging to everything else. Right click to open. It's a mining log. Overall, you just want the items. And other than that, you can take these platforms. I usually don't care as much, but you can. Down there is actually important. I usually just grab everything here. This is where you respawn if you die. And dying's not that big of a deal in this game. I mean, you lose your items, but it's not, I guess, critical. Usually I throw... Ooh, I actually have enough leather to do this. What you want to do with this is there's a leather satchel. I always do this. I just throw all my tools into one satchel, and you can actually like stack stuff. It doesn't really matter. There's no real weight yet, though I'm guessing that's probably going to be something that's going to be implemented. Let's see. None of this is really as important right now. You always want to keep your food with you. I'm actually going to toss most of my stuff into here. These can things I usually don't use anyway, but you can. They're food. I don't need this. Don't need this. Stones, don't need those yet. I'll need those when I make a tool. Those are food. Sticks. In fact, speaking of which, I'm going to go get my first tool. I want to keep those. You know what? Excavators pouch. You always want to grab at least one of these, as they're the thing that holds all this junk. And it'll pick it up when you actually go and find stuff. I think the forger pouch grabs these. You always want to keep your sap with you. It makes more torches. And did I put my sticks in there? Yeah. Keep sticks and sap with you. This game's kind of heavy on the inventory management. It gets better later on when you actually have one of everything. You can just toss a bag, or toss everything in a bag. Actually, I'm just going to toss these stones and junk in here. I actually want to take those. Inventory management's kind of an issue in this game, but hopefully they'll figure out a better way of that. And now you want to go down here. This is where you get your first tool and pieces of armor. And you get your first upgrade. This little gem. Open this up. This increases your range in which you can actually manipulate things. Really good. These explosives, gunpowder. You can take another mining log. A pickaxe, which is part of my little tool set, so I'm just going to toss this in the bag. You can actually drag it over and toss it in. Open your character up here. There's key bindings, but I don't usually use them, just out of habit. And gloves. This gives you some protection. not exactly the best, but it's better than nothing. Okay. Now these stones you can't break with the current level of pick I have. By the way, you can actually technically steal these just by opening up this, and you can like literally toss them in. And I usually just kind of pick them up to get their crafting recipe. You can't actually do anything with this yet. In fact, you're probably going to need gear before you can actually start dealing with any of this. And the next stage of gear is likely to be what is it? Iron. And iron's not that hard to come by, but it depends on I guess how well you know the area. Don't need any of this stuff, and I'm probably going to have to wait through a night. Actually, nah, I won't. It's not intelligent to not wait through the night, but right now I don't have any other use for any of this. I just toss this stuff over here. Don't need gunpowder. And everything else should be fine. Just keep these here. Yep. Now I probably want to have a bow. You can retrieve arrows. That's one of the things I really like about this game. Yes, you can see the copper pick there. Dynamite sticks and barrels. All well and good. Wooden bow. I want at least one of these to start with. And for arrows, I want to start with... I can't. Okay. I'll need to kill more chickens. Large tech table, GPS, mud brick. I'm going to need quite a few of these. I think somewhere in the 20. Yeah, I've been playing Stalker Call of Pripyat, the Misery mod. Kind of modified for me, but it's fun. I have this habit about modding things. In fact, I'm actually working on 3 different projects that all involve modding, and so it's been kind of taking away my time. Not too bad though. Basalt stuff is usually pretty, I guess, light. And in reality, basalt is actually kind of not so light. Let's just say that. What is that? What is that? Oh, that's nothing. That's just one of those clasps. I was wondering what's with this bar of 9 that I don't remember grabbing. Okay. 5, I would also always suggest having at least some sort of platform. Platforms are pretty cheap, and I think the only place you can actually place that is here. And then here. Now you do want to switch to your pickaxe here. Your bow, I don't have any arrows. In fact, I forgot about this. Usually you want to keep your light sources here. Well, that's just for my preference. That's the grab laser. This is the laser that allows you to not only scan the area a little bit. By the way, I forgot to scan in there. There's one of the hostile mobs. This thing. Right click does a stab. The slashing method is actually something else. These little green things are more of a nuisance than really anything. don't want to hit the pigs. They will pretty much, they'll kill you. Let's just say that. There we go. Now, this is usually when I would kill someone with a weapon, but yeah. See, my health is regenerating. If I didn't have any food on me, I would, or if I didn't have that hunger meter filled, I would not be regenerating health. It was almost out anyway, so best to keep that filled when you're going in areas that you will likely have to fight. I usually kill this with a crossbow, but yeah. Actually, yeah, I use crossbows. That's my thing, as I really like crossbows. This sword is not going to do well against this guy, but you can kill them. They're just very difficult, especially when you don't have this. These things can't actually function properly in the light, so keeping a little bit of light around you actually, I guess, stuns them, and during the day they are really kind of pathetic. These are what I usually use for crossbow bolts, for killing most I guess, armored creatures. There are armored creatures. These things, they don't fight back, just kill them, and they're a good source of leather. If you can hit them. That arc is kind of good for when they're moving. Okay, first item. Break that. See, you get some iron and some copper. See, these fast ones? These ones are actually kind of a problem. As you can expect, the fast ones. But you can stun them as long as you hit them first. Sheep, pretty much nothing else hurts you other than the boars and the, I guess, dragonflies is what they're nicknamed. I never want to take the weapon off of your toolbar. Those things, they'll hurt you if you attack them, or if they get, I guess, aggravated at you. Which is very rare. It's usually when they're hit by something around you. This system actually is pretty decent. I think this is Grey Rock. Yeah, you can hold right click to kind of more precisely hit things. This game's actually got an interesting mining mechanic. I probably want a little bit more wood. Oh. What I need is chickens. I can't seem to right click properly here. Just holding left click or right click allows you to constantly do that action. You can hold shift to run, and running allows you to go above, up one tall, I guess, blocks. A couple things actually, I forgot to, I keep doing that. It doesn't really matter if you're killing things with this, there's no real loss or gain from it. And this actually prevents you from like digging directly down, this right click, unless you crouch, in which it allows you to actually dig down, which is not bad actually. You can actually make pretty interesting tunnels As long as you're careful, it's usually not a problem. I want that, and let's see. I probably want to get back to here and start crafting my first set of armor. My first actual set of armor. This armor is actually pretty good up into probably, I think it's better than copper, but I don't think it's better than iron. But yeah, until next time, if you like what you're watching, subscribe. If not, oh well. Have a nice day. See you next time, and see ya.